Hello everyone, welcome back. It's the last race this season, well in the UK anyway. It was very interesting for track conditions and weather. It was a really wet qualifying, very slippy, very low grip, very treacherous conditions, but in the race it was perfect conditions for the TVR.
Morning, we're here at Silverstone. I'm here testing the TVR out for this weekend for NOS Racing Legends. I'm also here in a Morgan GT3 Aero 8. As you can see here, it's a bit boggy and damp, so I'm worried that the session might not actually go ahead due to visibility, but we'll see how it develops during the day.
Here we have my fastest lap for qualifying. It's, like I said in the intro, it's very slippery and treacherous conditions. You can see as I'm getting on the power how much the car is wanting to slide around, how unstable the car is. So I'm having to really brake early because if I have low grip, when I hit the brakes they're going to want to lock up. So I've just got to brake very gently. Got to do a later turn in to try and get off the rubbered in line and try and find a new way around the track, because if you go on the normal dry line there'll be a lot of rubber down, and as you know, rubber is non-permeable, which means that the water will sit on the top of it, which means that it will be really slippy. So you see here I'm really going around the outside of the apex trying to get as much grip as I can. I'm trying to accelerate away from the corner. You can see how much of a slide I'm getting out of the corner and going onto the straights. Really hard to get the car turned in as well. You can see in the next corner I really have to wait for the car to turn in and allow the front to drift inwards. You see here I start to have to turn a little bit more, steering past the level of grip, trying to get some heat into the front tyres. The more heat you get into the tyre, the more it will try and work with you, but it's very hard to keep the temperature of the tyre. You see here I make a move around the outside of this green TV on the right. I get a big slap of oversteer, but I managed to get it gathered up, start to carry a little bit more speed into this next corner. You see it's a little bit more stable. It's because I went on the normal dry line, but I was trying my best just to get the shortest way around that little bit of a kink. Here for Cops, I'm taking a little bit of a later turn in, missing the dry line, getting a bit of a slide on the way out here, trying to produce some temperature into the tyres, trying to get out of that corner as quick as I can. I'm learning each lap with this kind of condition. I'm going through there each time, going a little bit quicker, trying to take in a little bit more speed. You see here I'm steering way past the level of grip, trying just to get the front end in as much as I can. There's really very little grip going on here in this lap. Turning a little bit more to the right here, trying to get the car through here as quick as I can, trying to hustle the car, trying to get some more temperature into the tyres. You see here as I'm trying to get on power, it's really snapping away, and I'm just trying my best to keep the car moving forward, try and keep the momentum rolling. Here it's a really big stop. There's a really good line to take around this corner in the wet, which is going all the way around the outside. You can see on the left the white line. I decided to break away from that and try and straighten it out, but you see I have a big moment there. That was a little bit of a mistake, but I managed to get it gathered up, kept the momentum, trying to get the lap time in here. I keep it over to the left here, open up the right, and I just try and hold the slide as much as I can. I'm sliding the front end a little bit. You can see how little grip there is out here, and yeah, it was a really tricky set of conditions for qualifying. With this lap I managed to qualify in P6, which I was really happy with considering the conditions. You join me here at Silverstone. We've just qualified, we're getting ready for the race right now. Qualifying was really wet. The GT3 went out, it was so wet out there, very slippy, very changeable conditions. The track was drying all the time because the amount of aero these cars have was just lifting the water off the circuit. We went out in the TVR a little bit afterwards. It was so slippy out. No standing water, but just so slippy on the circuit.
Managed to qualify in 6th position for the TVR, so it's a good position to start from in the race later on today. And the grid for the GT3 is a little bit mixed, so we'll just have to see what we can do in the race and see where we can end up.
We're coming here now for the start of the race. Starting 6th position, there was a stoppage on track during the outlap, which means that we've had to do a safety car restart because the start was abandoned. It means we have to start in a single file, meaning we can't overtake before the start finish line. I decided to give myself a little bit of a run up to the car in front, hence why I was leaving such a big gap. It meant that I was able to get a nice run through turn 1, which is here, Cops. It means I can get a good exit, getting this black car on the right here. My aim is to make sure I don't take too much out of the car here. You need to brake very light, very gentle, and try not to scrub the tyre. I have a little bit of oversteer here, but I'm just trying my best to drive the car within itself and within the limit. It's a 3-hour race, of course, a very long race. The brakes really need to last here. I've got a good turn in on the way out of there. It means I can get a good exit. I know I've got the power on these E-types, so I'm just making it work. I'm really chasing down the guys in front from 6th position. Here, you can see in the lane in front, they can brake way later right than I can. I'm being very conservative on the brake. I'm literally just using the weight of my foot to try and slow the car down rather than pushing the pedal that hard. You see here, I can get a really good exit out of here. The little lands don't weigh very much, but they've got about 200 horsepower. We've got double the horsepower. We can really take it to these guys on the exit. So coming through here, I remember from the Silverstone Festival, I can really get a good exit out of there. If I get a nice slide coming through, you see I get a good exit. The Elan's on my left. We're going to have to race side by side going through here. I get a little bit of a slide, not really what I'm wanting. Then the Elan really tries hard to hang it around the outside. You can see here he managed to sneak back through and get me on the brakes into here. I'm not too worried because I know that the next straight I can really get a good exit and go back past. I'm currently in 3rd position here, so I'm trying to fight for 2nd and potentially the lead after that. Here, it's really important to get a good exit because you carry this exit right down this straight, so I'm just go, get all the power down that I can. You see I can easily pass the Elan on power. Now I've got to really work on him using the brakes. He will commit early to the inside. I take a little bit of a wider line, I cut back, make sure I get the apex, and I take a wider line into Luffield. I know that he's going to exit a little bit wider than I am, which means I'm going to try and fill the gap on the right hand side. It doesn't quite work out like that, however I get a good launch out of the corner, get side by side through Woodcut, and that's that move done going on to this next straight. Coming out of here, I get on the power and I get a little bit of a slide coming out, get a good exit, but it doesn't matter, he gets the corner anyway. I know that if I just wait and give myself a little bit more time and pressure him in ways, means that he's going to start making a few different mistakes. So I've just got a little bit more of an exit here than he does. I have a little bit look down the inside. I know full well I'm not going to go for it, but I'm just trying to be in his mirrors, trying to pressure him all the time and try and just make sure I'm pressuring him consistently to make sure he makes a mistake. Coming into village here, it's very easy to try and outbrake yourself, brake later than the other guys to try and go into this corner. You see here, I go in a little bit too quick. I'm trying my best just to not brake too hard, but I'm going a little bit quick, which puts me out of position for this next corner. However, I still get quite a good exit. He doesn't make up too much time on me here. I get a good nice turn in going onto this back straight here and get a good exit. So I'm just chasing him down, trying to stay within the toe, trying to stay within the air that the hole he's punching in the air. You see here he's taking the nice racing line. I'm following him into here, trying to keep as close as I can. I decide to switch back a little bit, open up the corner a little bit more, going into here. I brake a tad later, going a little bit deep, V off the corner, which is where you turn really sharply mid-corner a little bit away from the apex. I get a good exit coming into Woodcut. We're side by side coming into Woodcut. I get on the curb to try and aid the rotation, trying to keep flat out, and that's that move done and made for the lead. Here we have my friend and co-driver Ollie Rubin. It's a later stage in his stint. He's done a fantastic job of trying to make up time that we lost in the early pit stop. We decided to refuel early, whereas other cars decided not to refuel and do a shorter stop early on, which means we're trying to make up as much time as possible. Again, he's trying to take out as little as he can out of the car, i.e. not using the brakes, not using the tyres, and just trying to coax the speed out of the car by being smooth and not taking too much out. It's the final lap. He's just been called in to make a pit stop to change with myself. He'll be now thinking about, okay, what can I tell Harry? I remember him telling me that the car was sliding a little bit more now. You can see that on the way out on the exit it's not quite got that much grip. He also told me that the sun was very low. You can see on some of these angles it's really hard to see the track, so he warned me about that before getting into the car. He does a really good job of communicating what it's like on the condition of the track, what the car is like and the positioning, and like how it feels when you drive it, before he passes it over to me. So he's really good at being clear and communicative about what I'm going to be stepping into next for the next stage of the race. We're coming into Luffield here. It's a really hard balance to strike. You want to exit narrowly because you're going to try and come into the pit lane, but you want to be as quick as possible still. So you see him really light up the rear, trying to get as good of exit as he can, then hit the brakes hard to try and scrub the speed off, because it's obviously a 60 km/h speed limit down the pit lane. You see him reach that now, 37 miles an hour, 60 km/h. You see him getting prepared, ready to get out of the car. He pulls up here, you see me standing there, turns the car off, and then he gets out and I get in. You see me here leaving the pit lane. I've got everything in my mind that Ollie has told me, that the sun's really low, the rear tyres are letting go a little bit, they're definitely very worn, but I just need to be careful of that. But he has told me that the brakes feel really, really good, so it gives me the confidence when I get out of here that I can just go for it and try and be as quick as possible. Even after him telling me what I can expect from the car, I still need to almost warm myself into getting back into the car, trying to feel okay, the car is in this condition, it feels a little bit less grippy coming on the way out of corners, but the brakes, I remember, felt very, very good. I felt very soon as I came in. You see here I have a little bit of a snap of oversteer, I'm trying to get on the power a little bit too early. You just need to feel your way around this opening lap, trying to be as quick as possible and try not lose much time, but also take care of the car and make sure you don't spin off because you over anticipate and think, oh, the car will go through here easy, because it did earlier on the race, because it's a different car now. The sun was so blinding coming through this corner. Every so often I had to pull my visor down. I've got a smoked visor, that way I can just pull it down when the sun's low, then lift it up when I need to see anything else. That's why I go for the smoked visor. I'm coming through here, I'm just waiting. You see here I'm having to turn quite a lot, and that's because the front tyres have started to wear a lot more than they were at the start of the race, so you can really tell the car has done a long stint, a long race. It's coming into the final 40 minutes or so of a 3-hour race. The car is definitely, well, the tyres at least, definitely coming to the end of their life, but the car still felt fantastic.
So yeah, I just finished my stint in the Pall 3-hour. The pace was good, consistent. The car was really, really good. Harry left me with a lot to work with, and yeah, it was a nice, consistent drive, and hopefully Harry can now bring it home in the lead, and hopefully we can win. So yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, fantastic. Good fun. I always love getting in the TVR. Always puts a smile on your face when you get in it for the first time, and you feel the power picking up the back, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's great to be here. Nice sunny day. Yeah, good to be here.
So I've got it on my board that the time has come down. I know that there's 0 minutes left of the race, which tells me that I'm on the last lap and I'm still in the lead. And one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to show that the car was in very good condition. Me and Ollie did such a great job of just keeping the car in a really nice condition with the tyres, with the brakes, and I just wanted to demonstrate how good of a team that we made and how good of a job we did in this race. So one of the things I wanted to do on this final lap was to put in a really good lap time, just to show that the car still had the pace and there was still time in the car, and I just want to show you that lap now. One thing that had developed on track for the condition that I needed to remember and be mindful of was that some oil had come down going into village. You can see me here taking a very, very narrow line in. It's because if you went on the racing line, there was a lot of oil down. I noticed that earlier on in my stint. I saw the yellow and red striped flag, which said that something was down on the track. I turned in and there was very, very little grip, and I nearly went off the track. but I managed to get it collected, and I just had to remember, okay, take a very narrow line into the village. I'm coming in here to the final corner. The sun is on the horizon. I know I've got a back mark in front of me, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm very respectful to him. I've been racing with him all race, and I just come in here, take a very narrow line, get a good exit. I know this is the final lap of the race. I just want to make this last lap a good one to show how good the car still was at the end of the race. There's the checker flag on the right. I stick my arm out the window to show to the guys, yeah, we've done this. It's a fantastic race, well done. It was such a great feeling to cross the line in first position. You see me here coming out of the final corner, going into the pit lane. We've had the cool down lap. One thing that the race organisers wanted to do for their premier race at this race weekend was to form the top 3 cars up at the car park out front of the BRDC clubhouse in order to get great photos and great shots. So you see me here being pointed out of the gate of the right. I'm a little bit confused at first and try and get the turning circle of the car going into the gate. Managed to get that done. Everyone's pointing us through. It's very bumpy coming out of here, and I didn't expect how stiff the car was, because obviously I've only driven it on the track, and like, I'm going over these bumps like, wow, this is actually a really stiffly sprung car. They're pointing me around here. I'm a little bit worried about the puddles, so I'm trying to avoid them because I don't want them to get on the hot brakes, because we could definitely warp them. We managed to avoid doing that. I'm getting pointed here. Here's the BRDC clubhouse. Yeah, getting pointed through here. Just making sure the car isn't overheating, and yeah, getting the car parked up here.
It was a really good race. Managed to get a good start. I was trying to manage the pace quite early on, just to keep the brakes cool, keep the tyres in check, keep them safe, just make sure the car could make it to the end. Managed to get to P1 by lap 2, which was really good without taking too much out of the car. So yeah, really happy with the result, and Ollie drove a Stormer, so yeah, really happy with the result. Really good race today. We managed to finish P1 overall, which was fantastic. We had a really good start to the race, trying to manage tyres and trying to manage brakes. Really good that we were able to jump from P6 to P1 quite early on without taking too much out of the car. And I managed to hand over to Ollie with a really good lead without taking too much out of the car.
Yeah, when I took over, the car was in great shape. We opted to do the fuel stop early, which dropped us back behind the Alans a bit, but ultimately come away with the overall victory.
That's the main bit.
Yeah, and it's nice to come back after winning last year and win it again, which is, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, Ollie did really well in his middle stint. The sun was getting really low, so
the sun was horrendous. It was blind. You're coming around Chapel Curve onto the Hanger Straight, and you're coming around with one eye open because the glare was just horrific. But yeah, ultimately it was a fantastic result, fantastic race, and thank you for the opportunity, Harry.
No, it's been a brilliant racing with you, mate.
Thank you, mate.
We had a very good weekend this weekend. The TVR was faultless all weekend. Qualifying, like I said, was so treacherous, so wet. I was really happy that me and Ollie qualified in 6th position, considering how short the chassis is, the TVR, how treacherous it is in those kind of conditions, and how we were able to put it up to striking distance of the lead. We were really happy with that. Going into the race, we knew that we needed to make sure to look after the car, to make sure we don't take too much out of it, and I was really happy with the pace that we were able to pull off whilst looking after the car. Like we saw in the onboards, I managed to take the lead quite convincingly in the first 2 laps, and in my opinion there was so much more to come out of the car if we just wanted to go for raw pace. But yeah, I was really happy with the performance of the car, the team, and myself and Ollie. Yeah, it was definitely a weekend to write home about, and one for the history book certainly. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe and share. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, the links are down in the bio, and please keep up to date with all the stuff that we're doing, and we will have a 2024 season review video very soon. Thanks very much for watching.